So this is how you would do the map activity using Microsoft OneNote instead of doing it in person like we normally would. So we're really going to utilize the draw function of Microsoft OneNote. And of course, you're going to see your tabs here, and you should see these automatically there. If you don't, you can go ahead and check the contents and go to the map. And we'll do one of these for every single unit. So the first thing you're going to do is go to Draw. And notice that you have an eraser feature, super useful, pen, marker, and highlighter. What we want to do first is actually shade and outline these following areas using the highlighter function. And the highlighter function will allow us to see everything underneath in addition to what we're trying to draw. So let's go ahead and do that. And it says here, what I'm looking for is on page 11. And that'll be the Fertile Crescent. I personally like lighter colors, and you can change the ink colors. So I'm going to make this a super light Fertile Crescent. And you make sure that's clicked on highlighter. And I'm going to make this rather big, so about 8mm diameter, and you'll see why. So all you have to do is do your best guess to figure out relatively where this is going to be. And generally what's going to happen is it's not going to be to scale as your picture in the book, but it will be close enough for you, and these areas weren't super exact anyway. So this will be my crescent. And that's a mistake, so we're going to use that feature. And we want this on green, super light green. We're just going to go to the top. You see the Tigris and Euphrates there. It doesn't hit the Tigris and Euphrates the full way. So we're going to make a nice little arc so this hits about the Red Sea. And if you don't like what you did, you can always erase the line so it looks a little bit smoother. Pretty much what you're going to need to know for this test is to just identify it. But it helps to make sure that you have these areas mapped out. There's one little part of my Fertile Crescent. I see that it takes up there. And then the other part of the Fertile Crescent, which goes all the way down to the Dead Sea near the Sinai Peninsula. So I'm going to have that green. And about right here is good. And you really want to follow the borders of the rivers. So not super exact, but good enough for our purposes today. And you can just fill that one in. So that's an example of a highlighted area. And if you don't like some marks, just get rid of this. Whoop. Highlighter. So that's a region. And you're going to be able to see the regions you need to shading right over here. And again, I recommend doing those first simply because you can always draw over it later for the other ones. For the river, I just go ahead, pick anything that you'd like. I prefer to do these in pens. And we're going to highlight that blue. So you see this tiny, tiny outline of the Tigris and Euphrates. Tributary, and you can go ahead and label it. And you can either type or draw it by hand. Either way, that's going to be fine. Tigris, river, and Euphrates. And we have the Nile. And we'll just go all the way down. And we're going to ignore the modern nation-state borders that were imposed by colonizers. Make sure to get those tributaries. And there you go. So that's pretty much it for the map function. The Persian Empire is going to be really big, but really have fun with the draw tool. If you want to be extra, which by no means you need to be, but you can play around with the color gradations. Let's say I want to outline this in maybe a darker green than I have. So, there. And there you have it. Have fun.